We got to wake up and smell the coffee. I was in South Africa a couple of weeks ago. I met with the good brother Julius Malema. He supports the LGBT movement. I said, Brother Julius, you can't support this, brother. They bring the LGBT thing in South Africa, good brother. They're going to confuse the hell out of our people. He said, well, you know, they'll never be able to get rid of African people. That might be true. But they can definitely lead dysfunction into our society. We raise the babies who are going to fight intellectually, economically, politically, and physically, if need be, for the liberation of African people. If you're not making a family for that basis, I don't see a need for why you're making one. Our family got to have purpose. We got to have purpose. And guess what, brothers and sisters? The COVID was just the beginning. They coming down the pipe with more stuff. That's one of the reasons why they're pushing the LGBTQ, because there's certain diseases that they're working on that will be most effective for a homosexual male who's going to be sleeping with a heterosexual woman. So they need the boys to get involved in homosexual activity because it's a direct route to your bloodstream. And so they got new diseases that they're working on. They already got HIV-2, they're working on HIV-3. But the HIV-3 is only going to be effective if the male is bisexual and the woman is homosexual. This whole rainbow agenda, and I don't hate nobody. I love all black folks, whether you're sexually confused or not. But guess what? We have to recognize this is not about family planning. This ain't got nothing to do with romance. This is not about love. This is about how do we kick black people off this planet so we can keep it to ourselves. Why do you think they transgenderizing the children? Do y'all have transgender here yet? Mm-hmm. Not yet? Not yet. It's coming. Mm-hmm. Why do you think they transgenderize? 10 years ago, I said that the homosexual and lesbian agenda is not about homosexuality and lesbianism. It's about transgenderism. Somebody said, why is it about transgenderism? I said, because a homosexual can go back to his righteous African mind at any time and start making babies. A lesbian can go back to her righteous African mind and start making babies. But when you get hormone replacement therapy, and when you get your reproductive organ sliced off and remade, you can't go back. Are y'all following me? Transgenderism is self-inflicted genocide. Because once the boy gets rid of his testicles, he ain't making none. And once the girl shut down her ovaries, she can't start them back up. So the reason they're pushing the transgenderism is if I can transgenderize the black child, I don't have to worry about them making it anymore. Brothers and sisters, we got to wake up and smell the coffee. We got to wake up and smell the coffee. I was in South Africa a couple of weeks ago. I met with the good brother Julius Sello Malema. He supports the LGBT movement. I said, Brother Julius, you can't support this, brother. They bring the LGBT thing in South Africa, good brother. They're going to confuse the hell out of our people. He said, well, you know, they'll never be able to get rid of African people. That might be true. But they can definitely lead dysfunction into our society. Okay? Black women lead the world in AIDS cases because of bisexual black males. And we're not even talking about the new chlamydia they got that doesn't respond to penicillin. So if you're sexually active, especially young people, you better be using protection. Because they have a new gonorrhea and a new chlamydia that does not respond to medication. White men know what he's doing. And why do black women in the Western Hemisphere have one of the highest infant mortality rates in the world? Black women have been having babies since the beginning of time, but now we can't have babies right no more. They put our babies on delivery. See, one of the issues we got as African people, because we are so loving of a people, so divine as a people, that it's hard for us to understand the ruthlessness of European psychology. It's hard for us to understand the ruthlessness of Chinese psychology. It is hard for us to understand the ruthlessness of Jewish or Arab psychology, because we are not like that. We are not like that. But until you understand how ruthless these people are, you'll never overcome them. You know why? Because you will always give them the benefit of the doubt. Also, Jamaican children are not reading enough. I looked at the reading scores. They're almost identical to black boys in America. Only about half of black boys in Jamaica, level 4, can read on their grade level. That's insane. I'm not going to blame the government exclusively for that. I'm going to blame us. Because we as black parents are not making sure our children read enough, brothers and sisters. They're not reading enough. Your child, they're home on summer right now, right? They should be reading a book a week. Do y'all have public libraries in Jamaica? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Your child need to be going to the public library once a week. All of you with your children, they need to select a different book, and they should be reading one book a week. That's 8 books for the summer. Your child should read no less than 8, and you need to come up with a program where they can get tokens. And if they read more than 8 books at the end of the summer, there might be some activity in store with the children. Make reading fun. Not only should every child in the house be reading a book, the family should have a book that y'all reading together. Daddy gonna read 3 pages. Pass the book to mom. She gonna read 3 pages. Pass the book to big sister. She gonna read 5 pages. Pass the book to big brother. He gonna read 5 pages. Pass the book to little sister. She gonna read 2 pages. And little brother gonna read 2 pages. The family should be reading a book a month. Your children should be reading a book a week. And why do we want the children to read? 3 things happen when your children read. 3, automatically. Number 1, the brain picks up words. Automatically. This is how great the human brain is. When you read, your mind not only picks up the words, it discovers the definitions in cognition. So one day you're having a conversation, you use a word you didn't even know you knew. How did I even know that word? Because you picked it up when you was reading. So we need our children to improve their what? Working vocabulary. Because as an evaluating school psychologist, I can tell you, black children's working vocabularies are garbage. The average black child is reading 2 grades beneath your class standard. Your child is in level 4, he read like he level 2. Level 2, he read like he an infant. Level 6, read like he on level 3. This is why the scores are so low on the standardized test. What happens is when your child take the test, they read the question, there's words in the question they don't understand. And guess what? As the evaluator, I can't help them understand the question. I'm sorry, you got to do your best. If I can't tell him what this means, how are you going to get the question right? He can't. And that's your fault because we're not making our children read enough. Do we have spelling contests in the community? Do we have reading contests? We don't need the government for this. We don't need the church for this. We can do this on ourselves. Stop letting white supremacy convince you there's nothing you can do to help your situation. That's what they want you to do. All warfare is psychological. They want to convince black people nothing we do can stop what they do. Don't you ever get seduced by that mindset. And if you come across a Jamaican African brother and sister who got the mindset that nothing changes until the white man decides it's going to change, get away from that person. You can't allow your soul and your spirit to be infected by pessimistic Africans. When I come across a pessimist, I get away from him. If this is how you think, I cannot be around you. I believe we can win. You don't believe we can. We cannot share the same space and time. Black women, stop making babies with coons. Black men, you need to stop making babies with coons. I'm serious. I get the phone calls. Dr. Umar, I've been married for 10 years. I'm conscious now. My husband ain't conscious. He just want to keep smoking weed and hanging with the boys. And I need a man I can grow with, but we got 3 sons. I don't want to take my sons from their father, but I can no longer live like this because I've grown. I've outgrown the coon. See that? So you got to start choosing people for revolution. As far as I'm concerned, we don't even need to be making no family unless we come together to produce soldiers for the revolution, scientists for the revolution, engineers for the revolution, business owners for the revolution. If we not coming together for revolutionary love, what we coming together for? The primary purpose of establishing a family in 21st century Jamaica right now is for revolution. We raising babies who are going to fight intellectually, economically, politically, and physically, if need be, for the liberation of African people. If you're not making a family for that basis, I don't see a need for why you're making one. Our family got to have purpose. We got to have purpose. In our community organizations, we got to come together with a purpose. Every time we meet, there has to be a purpose. Because if you have a purpose for why you're meeting, you don't have to worry about some intellectually insane Negro trying to distract from the reason for why we're here and turn a perfectly good meeting into an intellectual masturbation session. How many times have you been to a meeting to get something done and it became an intellectual masturbation circled by 2 of the biggest egos in the room? You can't do that if you have purpose. And every meeting needs to have a sergeant of arms, somebody who don't mind dragging somebody out if they can't stick to the script. That's why black people are so tired of joining conscious organizations. I've been in the organizations 30 years. We never got nothing done. You know why? Because the meetings never stay on target. And the reason the meetings never stay on target is we never have people there to drag people out who don't want to respect the protocol. And then our elders have to come together and give us a council of elders. Every community in Jamaica should have a council of elders.
Yes, straight.
Because we as black people, due to our self-hate as African people, we have issues resolving conflicts peacefully with one another. We have no humility for each other because we got so much self-hate. So we need a council of elders. So if I'm having issues with the mother of my child, let me go to the elders before I go to the government. I need child support. I need custody. Let me go to the elders before I go to the government. I gave this brother a loan. He didn't pay me back. Let me go to the elders before I go to the government. If we had councils of elders in black communities, a lot of the conflict would be reduced. So we need the elders to get on the same accord also. And then we got the violence issue in Jamaica. Everybody acting like they don't know where the violence is coming from. I'll tell you. It ain't no different in Jamaica as it is in South Africa, as it is in Brooklyn or Philly or the UK. It's all the same. The mother of all violence is miseducation. And when I say miseducation, I'm including the lack of industrial skills training in Jamaica's high schools. Every black boy in Jamaica should be graduating licensed as a plumber or a carpenter or an electrician or a roofer or a welder or an auto mechanic or a computer networker or a barber. What good is a high school education if you graduated without a trade? No skills that can pay the bills will land you in jail. Period. Period. Well, we got a high dropout rate in Jamaica. I guess so, because you're not teaching nothing worthwhile. Miseducation is the mother of violence. Economic castration is its father. Where are the business opportunities for young black males in Jamaica? Where can I go as a young black male to get $2,500 US in order to get my t-shirt business off the ground? In order to get my basketball camp off the ground. I only need the equivalent of $2,500 US, or I might need $5,000 US. Where can I go to get it? Can I get it from a church? Can I get it from one of the parliamentarians? Can I get it from the prime minister? Can I get it from a black business? Violence will never cease in Jamaica until young black males are given economic opportunity to create a business for themselves. When you read about violence in the newspaper, you might say, brother looked at another brother the wrong way, looked at his girlfriend the wrong way, he shot him dead. What they're not going to tell you is the brother who did the shooting been looking for a job since he got out of jail for 5 years. Can't find one. Frustrated. Finally got accepted on a job, and then the boss found out he was a prisoner, cut him the same day. He didn't shoot you for looking at his girl. That was just the trigger. He was frustrated from the fact he could not take care of his family. So much of the violence is economic, brothers and sisters. And if we want to end the violence, you have to do what? Create a society where there's no need for the violence. Hurt people, and happy people don't have no need to. Very few black men with a full-time job who can pay the bills in the house are looking to shoot or get shot. Everybody involved in street crime is economically desperate. They have nothing to lose. I know because I work in the prisons. They have nothing to lose. Any black boy in Jamaica with nothing to lose is a potential criminal.
I seen you. I don't know if you were meditating before we started.
Yes,
you were praying. Okay.
Clearing out the mind and asking my Ori to make sure that my responses to your questions are in divine alignment. So in the spiritual system that I practice is known as Ifas from the Yoruba of Nigeria. We all know that we have God in us. We have that soul. Well, in Yoruba culture, it's called the Ori, and your head is the shrine